right now, I'm going to turn it over to my friend, my brother, and you can start by letting me know, man, what triggered you to start thinking about helping other people?
Oh, Foster, so man, I definitely appreciate you, man. Man, one thing y'all got to know about Will Foster, man, we grew up one street over. You know, I watched this man as a youngster, you know, his journey, you know, and like he said, man, that was somebody that I admired, man, somebody I looked up to because, you know, he was a staple within the community. And, you know, doing my little transition, man, and I remember, you know, he handed that pack to my brother. He handed that pack to one of my best friends, Ronell, and he told me, he's like, man, don't let you touch it, man. Don't let you keep it away from him. But, you know, he couldn't keep it away from him because, you know, it was in our community. Right. And I wanted a part of it, you know. And when you want a part of something, because, like we said, we grew up in a working class community.
Yeah, it was.
It was a working class community,
All
but
families.
then we were poor around there, but we didn't feel poor.
Right.
You know, and we wanted a way out. And you talking about leaders. Majority of the people that sold drugs was leaders. Yeah. Majority of them. Yeah. You know, so I jumped on, man, head first, man, and when I did, man, I turned around and took those little that crack cocaine and I flipped it so quick, man, that he couldn't turn me down.
Yeah. Well, let me chime in, because I really, my heart was, whatever y'all did, I told them jokers, I said, don't give him nothing. Yeah. I said, he going to the pros. I said, keep that stuff out of his hand. Yeah. Both of them came looking all set. I said, what's wrong? What's wrong? She do been rolling this thing. I said, what you mean, man? He been cutting that thing down. Ain't nobody getting it like he get. I said, no, y'all didn't let that boy touch that stuff, man. And they did. But go ahead, man. Finish the story.
Yeah, so, man, you know, jumped it off to the game, man. And I ended up catching 2 cases. Served 19 months in the state prison. Come home. And when I came home, I enrolled in college. Went down to Tri-C and started playing basketball. I was on the team, me and Ben Wallace. We was playing basketball at Tri-C, and I transferred over to Cleveland State, went to Cleveland State. And I'm trying to rush this story along a little bit because I want to really get to the meat, but I went to Cleveland State. I didn't play ball there, so I graduated from college with my associate's arts degree. Went over to Cleveland State, but I still was straddling the fence. I was, you know, still selling drugs. And then in 1996, me and my brother, we got arrested. Somebody snitched on us. And I tell people all the time, you know, I blame the person that snitched on me for years. But I never took accountability for the part that I played in it.
That's
you
good.
know,
That's good.
And once I took that accountability while I was incarcerated, because I took a plea for 20 years. They was trying to give me life. My brother ended up getting life in the federal system. And, you know, in the feds, when your life say out, they say deceased.
Right, that's right. That's right.
You know, so he had a life sentence, and his out date said deceased. And when I said, ain't no way, I'm taking this to trial. So I took a plea for 20 years. And I'm in prison, man. You know, when you're in the feds, you locked up with people all across the world. And I was one of those dudes, man, was a staple for Ohio, man, and mainly Cleveland. And I was, you know, and took my street life into the prison life. So I'm playing ball and, you know, wilding, drinking, smoking, you know, trying to get through this time as best as I could. And one day, man, my mom brought my son and my daughter down for a visit. And I'm about like 5 years into my sentence at this time. And my son, you know, kept asking me, Daddy, take me up here to get some popcorn. Daddy, take me to get some candy. You know, that yellow line on that visiting floor that you can't cross.
Oh, right, that's right.
You know, and
that's good.
That it broke me.
Yeah, that's good.
Because now I'm being told what to do with my son. Yeah. And how I can't take him to a vending machine. So, you know, and then after the visit, you got to leave out the visiting room and strip butt naked. You got to bend over. Grab your own cheeks, spread them, and cough. You know, so that was a little bit more humiliation piled on top of that, Foster. So went back to the unit, man, and I cried like a baby. You know, I was hurt, man, and I was using my outlet was journaling. I started journaling. You know, just journal and kept journaling, and journaling led into poetry. And the poetry led into books. I wrote over 300 poems, 8 books in the curriculum while I was incarcerated.
Wow.
And I knew from that point there that I was going to change my life. I said, man, I wanted something different. You know, so man, that's where the journey started from.
So the trauma. Now I catch this, and it's clear to me that the visitation, right? And I do understand that it's clear, still resonates in my soul how you're limited with your own family.
With your own family.
You know, I was limited, and just to share this with you, in my relationship, because after I became a Christian, it was a certain way that I could approach my girlfriend, who wasn't my wife at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I got kids by her, you know, where's the law? But then my law got stronger than the system when I accepted Christ in my life. It was way stronger because the system let you get away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But God was more into my change. I mentioned earlier, and we're going to get into this, I mentioned earlier about culture, sellout. What I felt that I was to you, a culture sellout, because I was degrading my culture, right? I was promoting things that was really tearing us down. When they talk about 105 in that area, I don't bring nothing back to 105 but change. I can't bring back the old memories, even though it's fun to think about here and there, but if I think about the trauma that caused. So when I said that I was a part of your life as a culture sellout, I showed you things that were going to be a curse to your generation to come.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
You
just showed me that when you hit the line and you can pass over the line, that let me know what I did to you disturbs your son. Daddy, you can't go get no popcorn with me. So my contributing to your life, bruh, and what I showed you as a kid and me ignorant to the life myself, I got to claim myself to be one of the #1 culture sellouts.
But here it go though, Will, like, and still, I understand what you're saying, but still it was a choice. And that's what people don't understand. We all still played a part in it because I had a choice.
Watch what you said earlier. When I said y'all gonna stop him, you couldn't stop him. Don't worry about that. You couldn't stop him. We couldn't stop you because it was in the community. It was a part of the community. That's a part of the culture. It's in the blood of our lifestyle. Very few come out and escape it.
Yeah.
If you got 1 or 2 guys that have escaped it, they can escape it intellectually by the degrees, maybe basketball. You haven't escaped the poverty.
And you know, pushing those drugs into the community, but then you turn around and look, I felt the same way. Because just like you, when you went and bought that Jeep, that Cherokee, that Grand Cherokee, what I go do?
Bought the Grand Cherokee.
I went and got the Grand Cherokee. Same color too now.
Same color.
I just had the plain seats in mine. But, you know, so then while I'm doing my time, you looking back, man, I got young dudes in my hood. Like we talk about some of the Laniers. We talking about the Tayers in the community. We talking about these young boys that follow my footsteps.
Right.
I only probably heard of your name.
Right.
But then they following in my footsteps.
Right.
And my footsteps was followed behind yours and Robinson.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I came home, Will, man, and I looked at the community.
Yeah.
And I was hurt. Because I was part of the problem, not part of the solution. Right. And one thing they say about trauma is not transformed, it's transferred.
Yeah.
We transferred a bunch of trauma by selling drugs, by being in the community, thinking that the status of wearing the gaiters,
right,
suited and booted, cars, the Porsches that I seen you and Robinson driving, the bikes, the Harleys. And everybody seeing that and they want it.
Right.
In our neighborhood, who had the money?
Right.
The drug dealers.
Right.
So we followed in these footsteps. When I came home, man, I was hurt, man, and I was distraught because I knew that I played a part in what was going on. So I said I wanted to make a change. And that change came with me continue to pour into myself what I poured in before I left prison.
I want to tap into something because, I mean, you know, just like I said, a lot of times just going back and thinking about some of the things and what happened to us as kids, I have to blame Sonny Boy. I have to blame my daddy. I mean, you're talking about some dysfunctions that we thought that us selling drugs and stuff like that, that was really some light stuff. Yeah. It was some undercurrent things that have happened to us, and we'll start right here. You're married now, right?
Yes.
Hey,
14
man,
years.
14 years of marriage. Let me tell you something. The sexual immorality, right, is a heavyweight part of witchcraft that contributes to this deception.
Yeah.
You know, all that contributes to deception. So we entertain that sexual immorality at a young age. Drugs was something to help us feed the sexual immorality, because the more money we had,
The more
women we had.
Yeah.
And so we were trying to see how many pantyhose we can anoint. You know, how many, we want to go through 1,000 pantyhose. That was our lifestyle, but it all came and stemmed from sexual immorality. And it didn't start with us.
Yeah.
So that's a core place. But it's not that we don't take responsibility now. I can raise my hand and say I'm guilty, but still don't change it.
Right. Right.
Because I don't know how to change it.
Because a lot of people don't know how to do a personal inventory.
Right.
See, you know, when you talk about change, man, that's a deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
That's a personal inventory of yourself, man, looking within and seeing what can I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you got the outside influences, they're gonna always be there. Streets is undefeated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've seen a few dudes in our neighborhoods, man, and you talking about thousands from your generation to my generation, the next generation, the younger generation. And I don't know about, and this is being totally honest, I've seen two dudes that beat the game. Two. Other than that, dead, in jail, life sentence, on crack, paralyzed. You know, so the game don't lose, man. And my job was, I knew that my job was to come back into the community and bring some change. Even though I left the community. I moved to Columbus, Ohio, because I knew I couldn't stay in the community, man. When I came home, you know, everything around me was still doing the same thing. And I didn't want no part of that. Like, it was so deep, man. I still got the mark right here, man. I was giving blood.
Wow.
Because I refused to ask for money for somebody.
Right.
I didn't want no drug money.
Right. I got you.
I didn't want no part to that.
Yeah. That's deep.
Because when I came home, I had a situation that happened to me, and I really don't even want to talk about it. You know about the situation happened to me, and it woke me up and said, oh, no, this ain't for you.
Right.
And just by the grace of God, man, my wife, man, I ran into her 3 months after I was released from prison.
Right.
Ran into her, man, and we started talking. She was living in Columbus, and she went down to my PO, and the PO and talked to the PO with me. The PO allowed me to move to Columbus.
Wow.
I quit. I was working at a U.S. Food. I had a seasonal job for doing landscaping, and then I had another seasonal job working at the homeless shelter. I quit those jobs to move up to Columbus with no job. Wow.
Yeah. So now, no, this is good, because I want to get to the part what sparked this piece. Where was the transition? So you go down to Columbus. What got you into advocating for others? What brought you to the ministry of, I won't say ministry, what brought you to the idea of justice? And I don't know exactly what you do in the justice part. I do know you help people transition out of the tears and snags of prison. I know that's one, because you worked inside the prison. I want you to elaborate on how you start. How did that start? What pushed you that way? Because you know you did a decade and a half, right?
Yeah, 14 years. 14
years. So, like, what triggered? Because you wasn't that way in the institution. You came out. You went to Columbus. What triggered that piece, man? How I'm gonna go back in? Was it a job? Was it that, hey, you seen the need?
Like I said, when I came home, man, and I seen the destruction, and what really triggered it, I was working at the homeless shelter, and
this is in Columbus?
In Cleveland.
In Cleveland, okay.
And the lady that usually do the prayer couldn't make it. And they asked me to do the prayer.
Okay.
And when I did the prayer, the dude said, man, you got something in you.
Right.
He said, you anointed, man.
Yeah.
He said, you need to use your voice.
Yeah.
And I heard him, but I didn't.
Yeah, that's good.
Until I got to Columbus, and I ran across a few partners that I did federal time with.
Right.
And he told me, he was like, man, I'm doing some reentry work, man, where I'm going inside the prisons and do reentry. You know.
Now, what year was this? Because I want to see.
This in 2013.
This 13. Okay.
I got out in 2012.
You got out in 12. Okay. Gotcha.
7 months after my release, I moved up to Columbus, Ohio.
Gotcha.
So it's in 2013, so I'm working in a warehouse. And then I'm going to facilitate groups inside London Prison, Pickaway, Chillicothe, and Pickaway, London, Chillicothe, and Lancaster. Okay. So I'm doing those 4 prisons 4 times a week and working in the warehouse. So what I told myself, and it's another reason what pushed me to start selling drugs, because I seen my mama, and you know my mama, she worked 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I said I would never ever in my life work like that. How many
kids?
11 kids.
11 kids.
I'm the baby out of 11.
Yeah.
So I said I would never ever in my life work like that.
Right.
When I came home, I was working the same hours like my mama, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right. Yeah.
Because I wanted change. Right. And I was serious about the change. Right. So I'm going inside these prisons and I'm facilitating, man. And I was, working for this, it's called MCS Touch, and I was working for him. And while working in there, I was meeting a lot of people. Right. And they was gravitating to me. He said, man, you drawing. He said, we've never had this many people in our program. Right. He said, man, they drawing to you. Right. So I'm still doing this. And they started letting me in to start doing some motivational speaking. Right. I started doing some motivational speaking. I got my book together. The first book, Begin, Believe, Become, the 3-step transformation. 3-step transformation. So I released that book in 2015. I remember when this book came out. So when I released that, I just kept doing my speaking. And I was going through some racism at my job, man, being denied job promotion. I'm working in a warehouse. There's a majority of the people that's in management is white. And I had this, the idea that I felt about white people. Now I'm feeling it again because I felt it when I was growing up. I felt it inside the system. Right. I felt it while working this job. Right. So what happened one night, I'm working this third shift and I was acting manager and a dude, I'm, asking him to get back to work, white dude. And he going off on me, called me all type of MFs and cussed me out. And then, his final word was effing nigger. And I almost resorted back to that shit dude. But I held my composure and I told him, you got to leave, man. And I called the matter report and everything. They ended up moving me to inside the store where I was working for America's Best eyeglass company, and I was working for them. And I was a apprentice optician. Something that I never done before, and learning this side of the story. But I was tired of working there too, man. I was tired of continue to just putting this work, even though I'm doing this reentry work on the side. Right. And dude come to me one day. This in 2022. This is when the everything started to shift for me. Okay, that's because the pandemic a little bit by the end. 22? Yeah, by the end of the pandemic. And this when everything started shifting because they said without a test there's no testimony. Right. I went through all the tests and now I'm sharing my testimony. So the dude come to me and said, man, they hiring for a reentry coordinator in London prison. I filled out the application and ended up getting hired. So now I went from Will being an inmate in a prison to walking up just like the COs walk up, getting my man down button, got my key, walk in. I'm walking in with my phone. So let me go back. So y'all got to know what a man down button is. And a lot of the guys in here may not know because you hadn't visited an institution from the inside. You've been there a lot of times, but you came through the door and went back out the door coming to see me. But so a man down button is what they have on them in case something goes down. If it's a riot and they had a man down, they pushed that button, and then all the other COs come. Now then they gave a convict a man down button. Man down button. So come on. So I got the man down button. I got my walkie-talkie. I got my keys, and I'm walking. No, not the walkie-talkie too. The walkie-talkie. They know you was a convict. Yeah, ex-convict. Now, but I'm not a CO. I'm just a reentry coordinator, and I'm going inside the institution, man. I started bringing in basketball teams. I'm escorting 12 dudes across the compound to walk to the gym. To play basketball. Come in the prison. In the prison.
And which one, like you had went, because you went to the state first, you said.
Went to the state first.
Yeah. So this one of the state prisons that you've been in.
One
you got
of the state prisons. I got a record.
You got a record.
You know what I'm saying?
Let God be God.
And then did federal time.
Yeah.
So I'm walking in here with a man.
And 14 years at that.
At that.
Yeah, come on.
So I'm walking with a man down, but I got my walkie-talkie, I got my keys, and I got my cell
How
phone in my back pocket.
How did you feel? No, I'm talking about how did you feel?
I felt untouchable. But I knew one thing though, I wasn't bringing no drugs up in there.
That's right.
You know what I'm talking
right.
about? So, why would I take something inside to keep myself inside?
Yeah.
So man, I was working this reentry coordinator, man. I'm bringing in dudes. I had to call they called outside brothers. I was bringing in dudes on Tuesday night to talk to these brothers. And the dudes that I was bringing in, man, they never been incarcerated before.
Right.
You know, and I'm sharing my story, and I'm taking them across the compound.
Yeah.
Literally walking down the corridor,
Yeah.
across the compound, an inmate, an ex-inmate, whatever you want to call it, with a felony.
Visitors. Got visitors with
Got
me.
visitors with me.
That's a see, and then that's another thing y'all just don't understand. So I have to tell my podcast friends that ain't never been on this level, this unheard of, because not even an inmate, right? This in can actually talk to people when they're coming across. Not to communicate, not even what they call a reckless eyeball. You can't even look at the people a certain way. So for an inmate to see, if it was somebody in there that knew him, said, "Golly, dude, what are you doing? What happened?
And
How
guess
you get
who
on
knew
that
me?
side?"
Guess who knew me? One of the young dudes named Nate the Nut knew me, seen me coming across the compound. And now he telling everybody else, and a lot of them know me from already doing motivational speaking and reentry, but he telling the dudes my story.
Right.
Like this dude here, like this was the dude in the hood. This was, he telling my story, and they see me. So now they get a chance to see that this possible.
Yeah.
So I'm inside here now, but I only worked there for like 90 days. Situation popped off, and it was a blessing too, because I had more to come.
Right.
Ran into another dude that me and him was working for MCS Touch, but he went on to school. He was in the federal prison. He went on to school to get his doctorate degree.
Gotcha.
So he's a licensed independent social worker.
Gotcha.
He said, "Man, I'm doing groups down here, man. I need you to come down here to facilitate. Bring your curriculum." So for the last 2 years, that's what I've been doing. That's my job.
Yeah.
I facilitate 4 groups 4 times a week. Facilitating with my curriculum, the life skill curriculum, to begin with the initiative life skill curriculum.
That's good stuff.
So now, while along doing that, I said, man, now I got the freedom to dive into my book.
Right.
From Inmate to Advocate, A Journey of Transformation.
Right.
I started diving in that. I started writing that. Here's the kicker though, Will.
Amen.
Everything just started to flow, right?
Right.
I got my book out. I got my website together. I'm running these classes. I got my LLC. Well, I have my LLC since 2013, but I'm telling you how everything started to line up. And then I was working for a company called Radio OPAC, where we interviewing people on Facebook. And so they was tied into what Ohio Arts Council. So I got an email that they pushed out there for the Ohio Poet Laureate. Now, I don't even know what this position is.
Right.
But I did interview a lady named Barbara Fant. She was doing poetry. And Carrie Guthrie, who was at the time the Ohio Poet Laureate. Even when she told me her title.
Lawyer?
Ohio Poet Laureate.
Lord. Okay.
So even when she told me her title, it really didn't make sense to me. It didn't matter.
Right.
I just knew I was interviewing somebody who did poetry.
Right.
But when I received this email to apply for the Ohio Poet Laureate, it come up, and the governor is the one that appoints. Well, you go interview with the Ohio Arts Council, they recommend it to the governor, and he make the final decision. So when I seen it, I said, man, let me go ahead and apply for this. Now, keep in mind, I know that I was one of the coldest poets that you're probably going to ever hear, but I didn't think I was going to get the position because of my background.
Right.
So I waited it took about 4 months, and then they called me down, and I was one of the 3 finalists. And I'm in there, doing the interview. They asked me these questions. They asked me to recite a poem. Life is equivalent to gambling with dice. Your expectation of getting paid without paying the price. You can use a career legally connected or choose the game distorted, washed up, and infected. For me, the game was my fast way to make a buck. Then I became a star player, stuck and didn't give up. Tempted to change when I did time for the game. Yelled on the block with my Glock to maintain. 2 years locked away, I changed my philosophy to sell dope. 2 years, snitches waited to hang me with a rope. Ball till you fall is a slogan for suckers. I was trapped in the system with no justice. Keep it real is a phrase commonly used amongst hustlers and dealers. Get caught in a conspiracy, and you see the making of a fake figure. Made men throughout your hood working with the police, they up to no good. Big willies you claim to be with your riches, pressure bust pipe kingpin snitches. For all you cats in the game, honor amongst thieves has changed. Clothes, cars, and jewelry will get you the mandatory minimum. Oh, you be in prison watching TV with Slim in them. They don't have to catch you with no dope. Hearsay from snitches taking your oath because of your decision doing time ain't no joke. The people that depended on you 24/7 has moved on. Baby mama drama is another hustler song. It's your life. That's all you got. Staying in the game will get you 3 meals in the cot. Think about it. Read it again. The one you call your friend just might turn you in. Come on. So I went down there and I'm spitting these poems, right? I spit about 3 of them for him, right? And I walked up out the room and like, can't nobody touch me. But I still didn't think I was going to win.
That's right.
3 months later, man, they called me, man, and said, you've been announced. And here, they didn't even call me. They sent me an email. And they said, the governor want to meet you as the new Ohio Poet Laureate. I'm thinking it's spam because it wasn't no congratulations. How you doing?
Come on, bro.
It wasn't like when there wasn't no big splash, and I showed it to my wife, and she was like, "Babe, you the poet laureate." I said, it just don't sound right.
Wow.
And then I get another email about a week later, and they started. Now this one was for real. They got the government seal on there. They give me some dates to go talk to the governor, and I go pull up in the government mansion.
Yeah.
Like and I couldn't believe it.
Right.
And that's when everything started kicking in, man. Right. That like you the Ohio Poet Laureate. Like so, I represent the whole Ohio.
Wow.
Going inside the institutions, working with the Boys and Girls Club, teaching them the importance of poetry, the literacy of it. Right. So here's the kicker. Remember I told you how grew up white people. I'm like, man, these white people ain't got no love for me. White people inside the prison. White people at the job holding me back or wouldn't give me this job promotion. Them same white people, well, it ain't the same, but these white people here is like, we want you to speak your truth. Yeah. We appointed you, the first African American, the first convicted felon as the Ohio Poet Laureate. We want you out here to present this and work these missions with the governor. He got me working with the doing expedient pardons. Expedited pardons. You know, so we got one on June 27th in Columbus where we teaching people how you can get your felonies expunged, how you can get a pardon, how you can get warrants recalled. So doing all this work, man, and they can't tell me it ain't God, but I had to put in the work. God wanted to know if I was sincere. Right. And everything that I said, even though I've been doing it for the last 10, 12 years, he wanted to know for sure. Right. And man, being blessed with this position, man, it's been a blessing. Man,
you ain't got to tell me.
You know, so that's the journey, man. That's where I'm at today.
That's a part of it. Now I want to go back real quick. Your reconnecting back to your kids. So you have what, a daughter and a son?
Yeah. So I got when I got incarcerated, my son was my daughter was 3, my son was 5.
Okay. And so they how old now?
You trying to get my age out there. No, but my son 33 and my daughter
really?
Just turned 31.
Yeah. Amen. So relationship, you still bond because you always been family oriented. Yeah. As long as I can remember. Yeah. You know, the big family always, him and his brother, when they was little, 5, 6 years old, they coming past my house. Together. They never seen them sometime. Hardly ever would you see them two separated. Now his brother, besides him, his brother check on me all the time. He might come over here, man, 2 or 3 times a month. What you doing, man? If he ain't coming over here, he on that phone calling me. Now I talk to him about every 3 years, right? But that brother coming to see me. He calling me when he out of town. He drive truck. Man, what you doing? What you doing? What you doing?
That's the one that beat the life. Wait,
that's the one beat the life
sentence, man. After 3 years after being found guilty, went to the Supreme Court, man, and because they was a legal search and seizure,
and they turned it over. Yeah. And he's doing well. He's doing great. He on Facebook with me. Whenever I get on there, he's saying something. He the only one. He saying something back. Don't say that. You saying too much. You giving up too much.
What you tell me though yesterday? He think he what?
He thinking my dad. He said, you giving up too much. Well, anyway, no. So just to know that you came back, you picked up, because everybody not family oriented. So that was a problem for a lot of people getting adjusted back into society because they didn't have that support system. And you did have that support system from your family, but you did take a bold step. I want to talk about, bold enough to go to a city, and of course it's still Ohio, Columbus, and you've been off to school too at one point in your life, but you just changed everything seemed to be for you. You 7 months home?
7 months home, man.
And he took that 180, and just did a complete about face somewhere else.
Because I knew I had to walk away, man.
Yeah.
Everything that I was familiar with was right there on 105. And in order to make a change within my family, within myself, I had to walk away first. So you take you everywhere you go.
Yeah. Let me say this too, because this was a big situation when you couldn't walk.
Yeah.
So we talk about God moments where you were going through all of this, you had the job, you had the program, and then all of a sudden one day, let's talk about that for a second. Can you shine some light on that?
Yeah, so actually it was Mother's Day weekend. We was out, my wife and I, we was here in Cleveland because I was living in Columbus at the time. And we was on our way out the door. And all of a sudden I'm just like, and I'm just yelling. I can't move. Like this whole right side just froze. And I'm yelling from the top of my lungs, man. I'm talking about I'm getting a pain, man, that's whooping on me. So they get me in the car. We go to my mom's house. And a couple of my nieces, they nurses, so they was trying to give me everything. This should help, and nothing is helping. I'm just for the rest of the night. Actually went to the ER. The ER gave me a lidocaine patch and some Motrin. And I don't know if they thought we was on drugs or what.
Well, right.
Because I'm sharp, I'm having suited and booted, and we there, and I'm just hollering every time you turn around. Because when the pain kick in, it's unbearable. Get back to the house, and I holler for the rest of the night. We get in the car, and only time I had some comfort on that 2-hour drive was sitting in the heated seat. And I didn't want to get out the car. I sat in the car in the garage for another 5 hours because I didn't want to get out the car. Finally get out the car and I'm upstairs, and I yell for the rest of the night. No sleep. I'm just yelling. Every time that spasm kicking in, I'm yelling. We go to the family doctor. They send me to a chiropractor. Go to the chiropractor, they send me to the ER. Go do an x-ray, and I'm back and forth to the hospital, yelling. I'm not sleeping well. I didn't get no sleep, and then I ain't eating 7 days straight. Finally, we get there, because you got to go through all the protocols to get an x-ray before you can get an MRI.
Come on, I've been through it.
So finally get the MRI, right? They admitted me immediately. I got a lower infection in my back called an epidural 9. So I'm sitting there on the hospital. They feed me medicine round the clock. And they keep coming in, checking on me. My wife didn't leave the hospital for 13 days. I stayed in the hospital for 13 days. She did not leave my side. And so my wife every day, this is the question she asked them every day after she talked to the doctors. How do we know if he's getting better? They was like, oh, he's progressing, he's doing good. She said, how do we know if he's round the clock on medication? So at this time, they put a PICC line in my arm. So they said the PICC line is going to kill the infection. Now, I'm in the hospital for 13 days at this time. Friday, The doctor come talk to us. My wife asked the same question. How do we know if he's getting better? Because she's pushing for another MRI. Mm-hmm. And I'm set to go home Monday with this PICC line that they say is going to kill the infection. And the doctor finally say to her, the only way he get another MRI is he in more pain. My wife don't say nothing else. Doctor leave the room, she come to me. She said, baby, I need you to do me a favor. I said, you know, what? She said, you can't take no more medicine. You know how men is. We Superman.
Ooh.
We Superman. I'm like, yeah, I ain't taking no more medicine. I'm good. And within the next 4 hours, the way that I was the first day hollering, I did that for the rest of the night. Hollering, man. I'm in so much pain. The pain was actually 3 times worse than from the first time I was hollering. The nurses finally came in. They tell the doctor the pain that I was in all night. So now they got to rush me down here to give me another MRI.
Right.
The only way I get the MRI because
man,
of who?
Come on, man. God.
God.
You know, your wife told you not to take that medication.
Ah, man.
Yeah. He
So,
worked through her.
I worked right through her.
Yeah, he worked right through
So
her.
she forced her to give him an MRI. MRI said it's spreading. The infection is spreading. I'm going set to supposed to go home Monday. The doctor come in and talk to me. He said, well, we got to do emergency surgery. You know, give me the ins and outs and how long the surgery going to take. And I asked him, of course, I said, what'll happen if I don't do the surgery? He said, well, you'll end up, everything will start locking up, you'll die. I said, what'll happen if I do the surgery? He said, you're going to walk with a permanent limp. You'll be cured. Once we scrape everything off your back, we'll put a PICC line in your arm and it'll kill the rest of it. I was debating between doing the surgery and not doing the surgery. You know why? Because what's the first thing Will said about me? I love that game, man. I love to play basketball. I play basketball 3 times a week. And I didn't want to walk with a permanent limp and not to be able to play basketball. So it took some convincing. As bad as it may seem, it took some convincing for my wife to do the surgery. But the next morning I go down there and do the surgery. It was a success. And I go home with a PICC line in my arm. And it killed the rest of it. So, you know, because of my wife, man, I'm here today. Fast forward though, Will. Just October, well, I'll say about a year and a half ago, I'm doing my yearly checkup. And I go and do my yearly checkup. My PSA is high. So the PSA is elevated high. Show it to my wife. She's like, you know, what your doctor say? I said, well, you know, he said it's probably an infection. They give me some pills to try to kill the infection. Go back and do another blood test. The PSA is still high. They said, oh, it's nothing to worry about. It's not elevated real high. She said, no, we want to look into this. They wanted me to just do nothing about it. She said, no, we're going to do a biopsy. Did the biopsy and finally come back that I had prostate cancer. It's called a glycine 6. It wasn't real high. So with a glycine 6, you get the option of monitor it, radiation, or have your prostate removed. They wanted me to just monitor it because it wasn't high. My wife's like, nah, we not gonna monitor it, and we're not gonna do radiation because if you do radiation, if it come back, you can't get your prostate removed because you done scarred all the tissue in there already. So I had my prostate removed October the 29th, and the reason why I shared that story because there it go again, the support of my wife, someone who loved me for who I am as a person, not for the money I had. Not for the things I do, but I always told her, I said, I ain't got $1 million, but I'm $1 million brother. You know what I'm saying? And she invested in me.
Let me share, and we talked about the root, generational, culture sellouts. I went through the same thing right after you. Couldn't walk. I had an infection in my spine. And
was it the epidural 9?
I don't know what it was. It was a demon. No. You gotta listen to me. It was a demon because they couldn't trace it. And just like you, they wouldn't give me an MRI. But what they did do, I had a stent. They had to put a stent in my chest. For me, they felt like it was so severe that I needed emergency antibiotics. Right? So listen. So I come back from what was that? Dubai. I went to Dubai. So on a 14-hour flight, not moving, I got blood clot. But it was in my lung. Now y'all know how severe that is, right? So when I finally get back home, got back home from Dubai the next month, November. I've been going through what they call it. Bio chiropractic. That's where they put the weights on you.
Yep.
So right, and I got back straight where I could walk, but the pain was so severe, like you saying, right? And you know, I would do the chiropractic stuff, but it wasn't what just pushing me. It was being on these machines laying down, and I couldn't lay a certain way because the pain was so excruciating, right?
Painful.
I couldn't sleep. So what happened, after I got back from Dubai, I started soaking in that Epsom salt every day. But it was draining, so now I'm dehydrated.
Yep.
So I fall out, right? I fall out. So my daughter, my wife tell her to call the ambulance because my wife is out of town. She calls the ambulance for the first time. Now, 10 months straight, I'm going to the doctor, emergency ER. The emergency room, and they can't help me. They not helping me at all. They telling me they don't see nothing. I'm all right. You good? You know. Then they give me the pills for the pain. And so this particular time when I went with the ambulance, what happened was they take me straight and get the MRI. The MRI say what? I got a blood clot in my lungs. I got an infection in my spine and a cyst in my back. Now, how I know it was a demon? The 4 days, was it 4 days? 3 days. 3 days in the hospital, right? I'm in the hospital and I said, God, I ain't coming and ask you to save my life. I don't, because I felt like something detrimental was about to happen. Like I ain't never been hospitalized in my life. I'm 60-something years old. Never been in the hospital ever. Unless I got shot or something, and I'm out the same day. I never sat in the hospital for no operation, never had a broken bone, nothing. And I said, God, I don't care about, you healing nothing. I don't want to be in sin. I don't want to be caught in sin. At that time, I was committing adultery. I was deep into doing it, whatever I was doing, and ministering the gospel, right? And I said, Lord, I just want my life to be right. So don't let me die, right, in this hospital, unhealed. My soul, I wasn't caring about this body no more.
Not the body.
Because the soul was important, right? I tell you, I know it was a demon. They give me the medication, send me home, and says it's going to be 8 weeks I got to be on this port. They did the operation, put the thing in my chest. Now I got to, give myself this antibiotics twice a day, staying on there 30 minutes a day.
Yep.
They sent me home, bro, the first week. They gave me the yellow pack, which is what they call a flush, right? Then you give me the blue pack, which is supposed to be the antibiotics. So you flush your lines before you go, then you flush them after you go, but you put the antibiotics in for half an hour and it's a drip, right? 7 weeks. The nurse finally came to change the bandage after the 7 weeks. Started me over, right? She said, where's your antibiotics? I said, they're right there, the blue thing. She said, no, that's a flush. I said, well, the yellow ones. She said, no, not antibiotics. Them flushes. They never sent me with no antibiotics. Changed my diet. Changed my life. Right?
So you think you putting in antibiotics and you ain't doing nothing but flushing?
I ain't doing nothing but flushing, bro. Because they got paid for that. That system, they got paid for that. Right? they put the port in. The port is the most money. The MRI was the most money. That's why they try to skip over the MRI.
Yeah, skip over that
and
MRI.
when they get the MRI, they said, well, shoot, we had to give him the MRI. Let's dose him up. Bruh, the antibiotics finally worked, but it was the flushing along with drinking a lot of water and changing my diet that cleaned the infection, right? So it may have been an infection there, but as I began to study, a lot of sickness come from demonic approaches and demonic activities. So a lot of things that happen to our body, our mental capacity, our health.
What you put in, you got to come out.
Is demon attacks.
Yeah.
So, and that's not my podcast tonight, everybody. I know y'all waiting for that piece, but that's not my approach tonight. But I don't want to go and end this podcast. Such a beautiful story you have, man, and your wife. I mean, you know, it ain't a lot that I can say about that piece because I know my wife. She did 12 and a half years with me, and then did another 15 years when I was a lunatic. You know what I'm saying? And prior to that, 7 years.
Yeah.
So she haven't really met me yet. You know, other than the healing that God is doing now. So today I see deliverance ministries that can speak to those portals of my past and what certain things that the enemy had attached. Because you got to remember you have a bloodline.
Yeah.
And whatever in your bloodline, if you haven't been changed by the blood of the Lamb, right? Your blood is still contaminated from Adam. And that's why the significance of Jesus Christ, the blood of the Lord, coming in, intervening. So I do know lining up with God had a lot to do with my healing. I ain't had a sign. When I tell you I couldn't walk, and I tell you right now, I ain't had a sign. My back is strong like I was when I was 15 years old. You know, I don't have no problem, no illness, but I can still feel the enemy attack on certain areas of my life because there's still things I'm working on. So I want to plant that seed of being a culture sellout. Wasn't my plan, right? And neither was the curse my plan. It was something that was given to all of us.
Yeah.
But the reverse of the curse, we have to be intentional about knowing that something can deliver us. It's got to be another bloodline. Right? And if the only bloodline you connected to of 105 or all the past was Sonny, you got to intervene for Sonny now. Yeah. You know, because whatever's in us pass on to our kids, and we can be strong enough to overcome it. Yeah. But the enemy knows that, and he'll keep you thinking that you don't have to do. You said it earlier. If you're not a part of the solution, you are the problem. Yeah. If you're not doing anything to rid your family from generational curses, right, or generational damnation, then you are the problem. Yeah. But you have to come to understand what tools that God wants to give us. Because you being a survivor of many different poles and things that's going on, and then having a wife that can stand in the gap is an added plus. But you got to know, we ain't here just because. We got to be a part of the solution to get people to understand that they're not responsible for getting rid of no curse. Yeah. If some curses on some people, they're not responsible for getting rid of it. They're not. Nobody can come in their minds and just say, I'm just going to change. It don't happen that way.
It don't happen that way.
God intervenes. And he intervened that particular time, bro, because them people was going to kill me. Giving me stuff that I didn't need or wasn't giving me nothing at all. And I had to bring it to their attention. Listen, y'all been getting paid for this. Nobody get reprimanded or nothing. It just go on. You talking about 7 weeks. I could have died. You know, if God seen fit. But that's what I wanted to say. A lot of things that you went through, bro, God want to deliver us. Yeah. So the attack of sickness and diseases won't come on our family members. Somebody got to stand in the gap for it.
Somebody got to stand in that gap.
But I do love the fact that, man, I just want to say this. I'm honored that you allow me to do this podcast, and I want more of your story. But I'm also doubly honored, man, that I played a part in your life today. Yeah. Not the history. You know, I'm talking about today. This bridge that we both making these transitions, man, 405.
405.
405. We make a transition for 105. And we not letting the 105 go off for no idolatry or the old idols of Will Foster or the old idols of Shadu. We new people now, man. So I'm going to pray us out.
Let me say this, man.
No, you
before
can say
we
whatever you
close
want to
out.
say. Yeah.
But what I am bringing back to 105 is change. And so on June 20th,
please
at 1 to 4, please come out. The book signing from Inmate to Advocate, A Journey of Transformation. And right after the book signing, we will be celebrating Juneteenth. Talk about our ancestors and some of the things that we overcome and still overcoming. Because when you look at the case with going on with Carmelo Anthony, of how he received 35 years, and then you got someone else that committed the same crime, and he was the agitator. He the one wouldn't start, and they end up sentencing him to 10 years. Wouldn't convict him of murder. Right. So those are a lot of things that we need to talk about within our community. We talking about change. I was just with my son earlier today. He's working with the youth, so we was talking about the father within.
That's good.
And I came down and sat on the panel with them. Man, just being involved, man. Being a change maker. Yeah. Letting them know that if I can do it, it's possible.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. And I come from, like I say, 3 convictions. Yeah. From playing basketball in college. I've been on all sides of the streets. Yeah. And to be able to get to this point where I'm at today, man. Yeah. So I want to say thank you to my big brother, man. Will Foster, man. I appreciate you. Man, thank you. Because even though some of the things that you did instilled in us and I did look up to, they transforming in our life right now to the day. Because all we do is take that street life and we turn it over to something positive. It's the same game. Yeah. It's the same game.
Yeah. So it is. We do go through the same processes, the same principles. Yeah. The same principles used in a different arena. So principles are everything,
Because if you hustle hard in the game, you're gonna be able to hustle hard in this life here. Transforming.
Yeah. I do appreciate your family, man. I want to shout out to the whole Julian family, man. The whole family has always been united. You always been unity and uniform, man. When y'all was kids, y'all used to dress alike. No, I kid you not. Him and his brother stayed with new all-star tennis shoes on, man. They had new pair. I don't know what Sonny was doing.
She got us in that yard cutting that grass, breaking leaves, and scrubbing socks on the scrub board, man. Some of the whitest socks in the neighborhood.
So shout out to Walt T, my father, my nephew father. And again, thank you guys for tuning in. This is the beginning. We haven't really touched. We haven't talked. We came out straight live. We didn't plan anything. We didn't sit down and script nothing what we were going to say. And I'm not the best at it, but shoot, he took up a slack, Jack. You can give it up for my man, Shadoody.
Man, I appreciate it.
Yeah, Shadoody, man. So God bless you. Thank you again for tuning in. And we're going to get to the next level. God bless you. Jesus love you. And be the best you can be.
Come in love and leave in peace.
Come in love and leave in peace, my man. Good evening. Welcome to a
I greet the sun when I rise. Today, O Lord, lead me with your eyes and safeguard me from my demise. This beautiful world you has given to me and all the dwellers in it. How some days I'm so selfish to see, chasing dirty money just to spend it. I come to you on bended knees. Sometimes